So what exactly are primaries and caucuses? Primaries and caucuses are the way that we go from lots of interested people wanting to be the nominee to one party nominee. It's a little bit confusing even to Americans, especially because every state can do things their own way. So let's look at this state by state. Let's take, for example, New Hampshire, which is one of the very first states to hold a primary. A primary is an election that looks pretty familiar to most of us. Voters will go into a school gymnasium or community center, enter a booth, close a curtain, and cast a vote. They'll have a piece of paper with all of the potential candidates, and they check a name and put it in a box. That's the end of their primary voting. It's fairly straightforward. Now, the point of this voting is for the candidates to accrue delegates. Delegates are the people that are going to vote for them at the national convention, and every state can allocate delegates their own way. Let's stick with New Hampshire for a minute and take a look at this picture. As you can see, Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders came in pretty close in New Hampshire. Ultimately, Bernie Sanders was the winner, but take a look here. Each of them received 9 delegates. That's the way it works in New Hampshire, but in other states with a result very similar to this, they may have a winner-take-all policy, which would mean that all of the delegates would go to Bernie Sanders if he won. Even that, the delegate allocation, can be quite confusing. But then we move on to caucuses, and caucuses are a very unique animal. They're very democratic, but they can also be very confusing. So for this, let's take a look at Iowa, which is the first state to hold its caucus. The way a caucus works is that you very much need to vote out loud. Again, you're going to be going to a school gymnasium or community center, but instead of going into a booth and closing yourself in privacy, you're going to vote with your feet. You're going to go and stand beside other people that are caucusing for the candidate of their choice. So you may go stand in the Bernie Sanders corner of the room, or the Pete Buttigieg corner of the room, or the Joe Biden corner of the room. And people start to see very clearly who has the most support. It's a very loud, a very exciting, and a very confusing system. And especially this year caught a lot of criticism because the Iowa Democratic Party had a lot of trouble calculating who actually won the Iowa caucus. But at the end of the day, all of these primaries and caucuses, as they move from state to state to state, are helping the candidates to rack up delegates that will cast votes for them at the national convention.